Hi, and welcome to R&D Tax Services' brief overview of the R&D Tax Relief Scheme. Purpose of this video is just to be able to give you a brief understanding of the scheme and whether or not your business could potentially be eligible for the government's HMRC's R&D Tax Relief Scheme. Now, let's get straight into it as to what is R&D tax. Now, where could it fit within your business? Put simply, the Research and Development Tax Relief Scheme is a company tax relief scheme from the UK government. It's been around since around about 2001, and it's designed to either help reduce your company's corporation tax bill or provide a cash sum reimbursement back into your business. Now, in order to be able to work out whether or not you are eligible for the scheme, there are a few steps to take. Now, the first step here is about identifying any potential activity you as a business have completed, either in previous financial years or your current financial year. Now, if you can answer yes to any of the below statements, it would indicate you could potentially have a claim. So thinking about your business, have you created, changed or adjusted a product, a process, or even used a different material? Have you created, changed or adjusted any of your internal systems or programs, perhaps a CRM system, or a BSM system? This type of development, what you may very well as a business look at as day-to-day operations, could actually potentially lead you to a claim. Now, not only once we've identified that you can say yes to those questions, we have to identify as to whether or not you have taken a commercial or financial risk. So thinking about the product, the service, or even the material you've used, have you as a business taken that risk on financially or commercially? Are you liable should that product not go to market? Should you be, for example, that the solution itself fails, or doesn't work the way it was intended? Are you at a risk? Now, if you can actually say yes, you have a potential commercial risk, then indeed, alongside that identification of a new process, product, or even utilizing a new material, a piece of software, for example, it enables you to actually be able to make a claim. Now, other areas you can think about here is, have you created a service or product that's not readily available in the public domain? Because when the HMRC look at potential products or indeed solutions, what they're looking for is something that is technologically or scientific advancement within the UK. Now, what that really boils down to is that if it is readily available in the public domain, that I can walk into a merchant or a supplier and buy a solution off shelf that does exactly what you have done, then arguably there is no innovation there. However, if I can't walk into a store, I have a competent professional walk into my business and deliver the same product or solution you have created, that would say there has been a technological or scientific advancement, and therefore meets the eligibility criteria of the scheme itself. Now, once you've identified and assessed the eligibility of a potential product, again, system upgrade, for example, material, or indeed a process, there are a number of things you would have to do in order to be able to make a successful submission to the HMRC. Now, the first and foremost, what you will need to do is actually write what refers to as a technical justification report. Now, what this does is identify those areas and those eligible activities and actually then puts it in relation to the tax relief scheme, actually identifying each criterion as it advances and is then presented to the HMRC in the format they require. That then works alongside a cost analysis, which is a comprehensive review of your expenditure on the activity. And that's going to include your staff costs, consumables, contractors, for example, any associated costs with that development. We then need to look at your accounts, and we need to have an in-depth analysis and costs, and again, an associated percentage of contributed work, calculating your loss and profit status, and then looking at, finally, a CT600, which is your tax computation, adjustments of either previous or indeed forthcoming CT600s, and actually working alongside your accountants to then get those submitted. So whilst on the face of it, an R&D claim in itself is fairly simple once you've identified the activity, the work behind the scenes, the work what you need to do as a business to successfully submit this to the HMRC is quite in-depth. And again, a partnered agency is probably the better solution, certainly in terms of your investment of time as well. Now, in terms of how it works, nuts and bolts of qualifying piece of activity here, is that once a project has been identified, if we were to work with R&D tax services, we're going to need between 3 to 4 hours of your time. That's to help consult on the project details and the financial outputs of your business. Now, the areas of which we've already spoken about, the technical reports, the analysis, the costing solutions, everything along those sides, we will actually do on your behalf. Now, not only does that take a lot of pressure and, again, more of the technical jargon which HMRC are looking for away from you, so you do not have to worry and stress, we also ensure that the claims are completely compliant with the latest legislation. Now, once a report is actually ready for final submission, it's actually sent to you for your full review and sign-off. We ourselves work in partnership for you. What we want to ensure is that you are absolutely comfortable and indeed have signed off on each piece of the submission as we move forward. Now, in terms of how long it actually takes from a successful claim once submitted, on average, within 28 working days from submission. Now, actually, it's moving towards more 28 calendar days. However, the HMRC, certainly with end of years, can sometimes be a little bit slower in response. Now, on average, from start to finish, from initial discussion with our tax experts, all the way through to successful submission on either reimbursement or deduction in your forthcoming CT600 or corporation tax bill, takes roughly around 6 weeks. But the key thing here is it only takes 3 to 4 hours of either your or your team's time in total. We do everything else. Now, it is about finding the right partner, because there are many R&D services out there. There are hundreds of companies similar to ourselves who provide the R&D scheme and the process of which to be able to develop a claim. Now, the key difference between ourselves and indeed a lot of the agencies out there is, first and foremost, we ourselves have been working with regards to the R&D scheme for a number of years. All of our consultants have a minimum of 7 years experience within a particular industry or indeed within the overall tax environment, should we say. Okay, but it's imperative that you identify a company that understands your business, who have the experience and expertise within your industry, not only to better understand the intricacies of potentially the process, product, or indeed what you have been developing, but also be able to support your organisation throughout the claim and then beyond. Now, the HMRC themselves are retrospectively beginning to review claims. What that means is that should a claim ever be audited or indeed questioned, we ourselves will support you throughout the entire process. It's not just about putting the submission through, it's about working in partnership ongoing with yourself. Now, we're also part of the BCNA Chartered Accounting Group, actually one of the largest independent accountancy groups here in Hampshire. And as I said, with regards to the scheme itself, has successfully assisted our clients claim millions back over the last probably 7 to 8 years. Now, we touched on the HMRC and compliance. Now, there has been a vast increase in claims, certainly over the last 2 years or so. It's roughly around about 16% increase, or in mathematical terms and in terms of the actual value of claims, just over £1 billion has been an increase in that sort of volume of claims. So £1 billion of additional claims. Now, with that, because it is self-submission, there has been a number of there's been a number of instances where claims themselves have been put through either incorrectly or indeed fraudulently. Now, due to the volume of claims being placed through, the HMRC simply do not have the resource to be able to check claims as they're processed. What they are doing, however, is actually bringing a number of additional resources in-house. Now, they've brought in so far an additional 100 to 200 members of staff to actually retrospectively review R&D claims. Now, why this is important is that we ourselves here at R&D Tax Services, not only do we have a 100% success rate on claims being submitted, we actually have a 100% success rate on all claims that have been reviewed or investigated. And we have helped hundreds of clients who haven't initially put their claims through with us initially to actually help defend their submissions, to be able to make adjustments and to ensure they are fully compliant every single step of the way. Because what we don't ever want to see with any of our clients is that you make a successful submission, you're happy, you move forward, having on average made a claim between £53,000 to £87,000 per financial year, to then find that the agency you used have not done it correctly, and therefore the HMRC not only potentially could be asking for that money to be paid back, they could actually further audit the risk of the business. So we want to help prevent that from happening, to ensure you're compliant, but to give you that support ongoing. So if there was ever a review or indeed an audit on the claim, we will manage that on your behalf. We will liaise with the HMRC. We will take that stress away. And one thing to mention, whilst we have never had to use it at all, as a business, we ourselves are fully insured, so that should there ever be an issue with a claim, that you yourself are 100% protected. Now, in terms of how we as a business work, we work purely on a success fee basis only. Now, what this actually means is there is no commercial risk for you whatsoever. We will get paid once a successful claim has been made. Now, we work on an 18% success fee, which is 7% lower than the industry average. The reason why we have such low fees is because we look at the longevity of our partnership with you. We are looking to work with you for the next few years, if not longer, and we want to create a partnership as opposed to just a one-off relief and claim for you. Now, we do offer a free, no obligation review of your business eligibility, and should you have made a claim previously and would like a free health check, we absolutely were happy to offer that. All you would need to do is contact us at the sales@rndtaxservices.co.uk or speak to myself or a member of our team on 02394 351 200. Now, this presentation itself, whilst very brief, will have a link onto our website which does investigate these topics in a lot more depth. And should you want to have indeed a private discussion with one of our consultants, all you need to do is drop us an email, drop us a call, and we can get that arranged for you. Thank you ever so much for taking part and listening to our little presentation, and I wish you all the best. Thank you. Bye-bye.